Coffee in the big tank.
Oh, what is going on, folks? We are back with another episode of Working the Marks. You know who I am. I'm Richard Pictures. I'm a really swell guy, and I'm the consistent host of this show, reluctantly, but I'm the consistent host of this show called Working the Marks. Last week, I dropped some really heavy news on you. It was my Freebird moment. I heard Desperado by the Eagles playing in the background. I kind of felt like Terry Funk. When I announced that later this year I will be later next year, excuse me, I will be stepping away from Working the Marks. It's a really sad moment, I'm sure, for all you viewers out there, because you're not going to get to see my mug anymore. It's really, really sad. But the beat goes on, and you have me for now. So cherish these moments, because someday I'll be gone, and this will be a way for you people to remember me. So there you go. But accompanying me tonight is a very special gentleman from Canada. His name is Tyler Taylor, and he is, in fact, the talent. Tyler, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you? So you said you felt like Terry Funk. Does that mean you're going to retire and unretire 17 times?
No comment.
All right.
And I might not do it wearing a salmon blazer, a salmon-colored blazer, okay? Nice. And the other man joining us this evening on Working the Marks is none other than Macho Rodrigez, the Pitbull. Do you do some sort of associated bark with your name? Do you like woof woof? Are you kind of like, do you doing a DMX thing? Can I get a bark out of you in any kind of way? Something?
No, it's just with the facial. It's just people say I look like a Pitbull, so I just stuck to the name. Mira ese pendejo. You know, so that's just one of those things. So that's what it is.
You sure that they didn't mean like you look like Pitbull, like Mr. 305, Mr. Worldwide?
Yeah, Mr. Worldwide.
They didn't mean that's what it was, or maybe they were just like, you look like Pitbull number 2. Yeah, Dale. There you go. Yeah. Maybe you look like Pitbull number 2. That's what they probably meant. That's why.
I mean, I definitely enjoy some of Pitbull's music. It's all right. I mean, not all of it, but it's all right. I enjoy it more than country music.
You can't help but tap your toe to it. I mean, I know I do. I love tapping my toe to reggaeton, as the kids call it. But
definitely.
But you know what? For tonight's show, since there was Pitbull number 1 and Pitbull number 2, you're Pitbull number 3. So
got it.
Joining us tonight, Pitbull number 3, Macho Rodriguez. Guys, a lot of stuff to talk about in wrestling. A lot of really special, actually. Real quick, time out here. That we got the two of you guys on this show. You guys are coming over here from Must Love Wrestling, so we got the multiverse going on over here. It's the Famcast Media multiverse. You never know who's going to end up on this show. Obviously, one guy that's not going to be on this show is D. Rotten, and, well, Fernando's the other one, too. But whatever, we're not going to talk about that. Unless you want to, throw it in the comments. We'll talk about it. Fuck it, why not? We got to bump the ratings before I fucking ditch this popsicle stand. So, but
if we need something spelled, though.
Well,
shit.
Then we're shit out of luck, because we all know D can't spell. We love you, D. Hope you're watching the show from somewhere.
I believe he's filming a podcast as we speak, right?
He's filming another podcast. He left this podcast to go film another podcast. Unbelievable. The reverberations of my announcement last week. Do you feel it? It's weighing on these gentlemen. Hopefully we get them back on. I don't know. But anyways, you know what? Fuck it. I might put my career on the line next show. I don't know how that's going to work, but I'll put my career on the line. But we got a little bit of news to talk about. I could go on about myself all fucking day here. But Maria Kanellis dropped a pretty cryptic tweet these last couple of days, 2 of them specifically, but we'll talk about the first one. Some people kind of felt that it might have been aimed at CM Punk. I'll read it for you, folks. Obviously, you guys will let me know how you feel. But Maria Kanellis had tweeted on the 9th of December at 9:07 p.m. a tweet that she later deleted. Seen a promo recently that was so incredibly contrived and scripted, it made me question a lot of things I thought were true. Or maybe they used to be true, and at a certain point, the grit and honesty gets washed off by money and politics. Maybe it isn't possible to be successful and authentic. Maybe it's nuanced and impossible to predict. But I'm still in the struggle, so I can't understand the change. How can you forget what the fight was, or the people that fought beside you? when you were still struggling to pay the bills, when you're still struggling to pay the bills, the motivation is very real. The words are real. Hashtag almost 20 years. Now, a lot of people thought that that was kind of angled at CM Punk and his promo that he had cut when he first appeared on Monday Night Raw after the Survivor Series, where he announced emphatically that he is home. Some people received it one way, other people received it as a very kind of phony, contrived way. Kind of depends, what side of the tracks you fall on. Maria Kanellis, obviously working for Ring of Honor and working for AEW, might be inclined to believe that it might be that way, or maybe this might not be directed at Punk. Guys, what do you got to say? Tyler, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I mean, I know they do have a history, the two of them, so it very well could be. I didn't particularly think that promo really made much of an impact. I thought it was just like a hey, here I am, guys. So I don't know what she'd be so upset about. Like, she's doing what she wants to do with her husband, and he's doing what he wants to do, and everyone should just go on with their life. They haven't been together for, like she said, almost 20 years.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's I think it's been a little bit shorter time than that, maybe like 17 or 18 years. But if it wasn't directed at Punk, who do you think it would have been directed at?
That's a good question. The only thing I can think of is if she's, well, no, because Adam's not on the show. I was gonna say if she's just trying to push her man's storyline, because he's with the is he not with the Roddy and Matt Taven?
I think he is. I think he's a part of that whole shtick, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he is, because they're a tag team.
Been on vacation for a couple of weeks, so I haven't seen the last couple of shows.
Okay,
but so I know that like kayfabe, they're feuding / frenemies, whatever, with Adam Cole,
right?
But he hasn't really been on TV, right?
No. I don't think so. I think it's just
because that could be a work. But why would you delete it if it was a work?
Well, that's my question. You know what I mean? Like, why delete it? You know what I mean? So it kind of seems like it could be about Punk, but I mean, there's not enough of a gimmick reason.
I think it probably is. I just don't see why.
Right. Lou, how are you feeling about it, Mach? I mean, I'm sorry, Mach, Lou. I don't know if I should kayfabe you or not.
That's fine.
But how do you feel about it?
I think it was about CM Punk. I think that a lot of people seem to be really upset with him saying that this is his home. They're forgetting the fact that this is where he became mainstream. Like I said this on a video earlier in the week, that wrestling fans this age, Summer of Punk and Ring of Honor, it doesn't impact their lives at all. But the Summer of Punk in WWE, I mean, people remember that. That is something that like they craved for 7.5 years, just begging for him to come back. This guy couldn't do an interview at anything he did without someone asking him if he was coming back to pro wrestling, and with WWE in mind. So I can see how she is upset with him because she feels like he kind of sold out to the man. But let's be honest, like we've talked about it a lot, the three of us specifically, that he craved structure and he's getting that now. And I agree with Tyler. The promo wasn't great. It wasn't really CM Punk. The SmackDown promo was amazing. Like that was a fire ass promo. But yeah, I look at it just staying on topic. I feel like Maria Kanellis definitely, she felt some kind of way, because if she didn't, why else would she delete it? That's the point that really drives home to me, is she deleted the tweet.
Yeah. Tyler, did you want to add something to that?
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off before.
You're good. I remember when Punk debuted in AEW, he said, "I was never going to get better where I got sick." That was in his original promo.
Yes.
So to me, it's kind of like we all have toxic family issues sometimes, but that doesn't mean that's not still home. So like for people who want to attack that, just because like we all have dysfunction in our family, but at the end of the day, it's still family, it's still home, and that may be what he considers to be home. So like, wow. Just as I said, I thought the promo was what it was. It served its purpose. I haven't seen it. As I said, I've been out of town, so I haven't seen the most recent ones. I'm planning on doing a little binge after the show. But that's to me, that's what, like, let the man do what he wants to do. And as I said to Lou, like, I disagree with a lot of stuff that went down in AEW. I think he is at least partially to blame for a lot of it. But still, seeing that man on my screen, like, my energy goes up. Like, it's exciting.
Yeah, he's different because he's a guy that I really feel gets like a genuine reaction. Like if he gets a good reaction, it's a genuine good reaction. If he gets a bad reaction, it's a genuine bad reaction. There's no middle ground with him. You know, you either love him or you hate him. There's a lot of other people that you could look at that you might not be a fan of their work, but you don't necessarily hate them. And they don't kind of evoke the same emotional response that he does. And this guy could go fucking anywhere and do it. So he's very different. He's very unique in that sense. And he's incredibly compelling because of it. So people always want to see what he's going to be up to. But to me personally, I just think that, you know, if you're a worker for AEW or Ring of Honor or WWE, whatever the case is, whether you know somebody, whether you hated them, whether you liked them, whatever the case might be, they're doing the same thing. They're in the same field. Be happy that they're out there making a living. Unless it affected you personally, that's one thing. You're entitled to feel how you want to feel. But generally speaking, what does it matter whether what one person cut a promo that might be perceived to be something in another company? Like, why do you care? It's a fucking work. You know, they're working. You know, they're telling stories. They're doing the same thing that you're doing in the company you're working for. So for me, I find it that it's a little odd that you start to kind of see this type of stuff coming. I hate to say it, from AEW, you know, and a lot of the people that work for AEW that work for Ring of Honor. Now, look, WWE people have done it in the past, but for the most part, comparatively speaking, AEW really does it quite often. And I know that Bryan Danielson is now the resident warden of AEW in the eyes of some people, but Bryan Danielson, I hope, kind of starts to cut down on this stuff and kind of starts to tell people, hey, you shouldn't be responding to all this stuff online. You shouldn't be responding to all these fans. You shouldn't be doing all this stuff. If you do, respond a certain way. Kind of teach them how to fucking behave themselves, because to me, I feel like this stuff shouldn't be happening, especially from people that are in the business.
Right. And like, one thing they've had is like baby faces. Like, I think Britt's a baby face at this point, and she'll get on and she'll get into it with fans, and that's not a good look. Like, you got to be more professional than that. And that's exactly, you're exactly right. And why wouldn't they use a guy like Bryan Danielson, who has all that experience and all that knowledge and has the boss's trust for that type of role?
Yeah. I agree.
It's The Undertaker. They had wrestling court, so.
I mean, it's good in a way to have it, but I mean, this is also a different time because of social media. You know, social media has changed the entire dynamic. You no longer have to wait to go out to the crowd or get to a building, or you're at a quick check, or you're picking up a sandwich somewhere, eating out with your family to run into fans. Now you can talk to your fans directly through your social media account. You could live stream to them. You could do anything. More importantly, they can tag you. So you're going to see a lot of content constantly. And most of these people manage their own social media account, except like the big stars probably. You know, but I mean, it again, to me, it's just another example of like, hey, you kind of need this structure here, particularly with the talent. You want to create an aura of professionalism. I think that their reputation, and I'm, again, not trying to trash them, but I'm looking at this as objectively as possible. It's kind of taken a little bit of a hit with some of these incidents and just people interacting with, and Tony Khan as well. Tony Khan's guilty of it as well, unfortunately. You know what I mean? But you know, this kind of stuff, I think is detrimental to AEW. It's detrimental to their perception, you know. And I don't know, man. I just feel like this kind of stuff like alienates people who might be interested, is all. You know what I mean? Yeah. Moving along to another issue, which kind of arose from social media stuff. There was a bit of an issue with the Briscoes. Well, mainly Mark Briscoe. Mark Briscoe had seen a tweet from WWE that had Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits together, with the Street Profits holding up Bobby Lashley's hand in victory in a matchup that he won Friday night on SmackDown. And The caption read "Dem Boys." Apparently, it was brought to Mark Briscoe's attention. He had tagged Triple H. He was a bit upset about it. He felt like it was kind of disrespectful in a type of way. Obviously, a lot of other talents had kind of chimed in, as well as people from, namely from AEW and from Ring of Honor. One of those talents, again, was Maria Kanellis Bennett. And she tweeted, "So disrespectful and tone deaf. These are the only Dem Boys. I said what I said and shouldn't have deleted it. The magic is in the friendships, the memories, and the people you help. The Briscoes have helped and elevated everybody around them. This one was from 2 years ago, and there was something about that night. Like, we knew that this was the last match we would all be together. And it was a match between the Kingdom and the Briscoe brothers in Ring of Honor." So, kind of a little bit, maybe perhaps a little bit better understanding of certain things of what's going on. Maybe she's aimed this at WWE, referencing her previous post, which she did delete, which some people thought was about CM Punk. FTR chimed in. A few other people had chimed in defending the Briscoes and, kind of affirming their status as Dem Boys. Now, there were a lot of people that did also mention that this Dem Boys came from the Dallas Cowboys. And it's also been popular in African-American culture too. So, I mean, this isn't anything that they necessarily coined, but it's something that they're known as amongst the more hardcore wrestling fans. So obviously this caused a little bit of a problem. Mark eventually posted and said that, he shouldn't have reacted to it. It is what it is, all this other stuff, and kind of walked it back down. Guys, give me your thoughts on this match. I'm going to start with you first this time. What did you think of this entire situation? And what did you think of the WWE's post? Do you think it might have been aimed at the Briscoes, maybe in some kind of backhanded way? And what do you feel about all these other AEW talents chiming in?
Well, first, I'd like to say that as much as I hate to say this live on YouTube's, I agree with Disco Inferno. He tweeted about this earlier this week, and he said, "I know who the Briscoes are, and I've never associated Dem Boys with them. It was never a thing to me, but I know who the Briscoes are." I feel like everybody knows who the Briscoes are, especially after Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn shouted them out after WrestleMania 39. So, I feel like a lot of people probably were like, who are they talking about? Let's go back and watch them and realize that these guys were just as good as the Usos. And I love Mark Briscoe, hate the way he's being used in that fucking company, but I mean, he has the right to feel the way he feels. And like you said about the CM Punk thing, we don't know if he was just working fans, getting them riled up, so that way he could probably get people to back him up in the company. More fans to scream his name, start screaming Dem Boys when he's out there. It could have been something that simple. Maria Kanellis, obviously, she's very passionate and she's got a lot to say this week. I actually blocked her on Twitter. I had to unblock her, so she must post a lot of political garbage. But yeah, when I looked at it, I didn't think anything of it. I've always associated Dem Boys with the Briscoes, but that's not something that obviously a lot of fans are gonna do. I mean, honestly, if you don't watch Ring of Honor, if you didn't grow up with them before they decided to wear camo pants and stuff, when they were just rocking singlets and buzz cuts and shit, you wouldn't know that that's who they are. And yeah, it is a Cowboys thing. I wouldn't want to be fucking called Dem Boys. Hell no. Hell no. I don't know.
I'm with you on that. Tyler, how'd you feel about it?
So I can understand him feeling the way he feels. He just lost his brother less than a year ago. So if he feels like it's a shot, then that's how he feels. It's not. There's no reason for them to take a shot like that. But I can understand him feeling some type of way about it because, they were obviously incredibly close. And I mean, like I said, he just lost his brother a year ago. So he feels the way he feels. He's grieving, he's healing. And that's probably why he came back and said, look, I shouldn't have said anything, whatever. It is what it is. So, I mean, I get it. But at the end of the day, I don't think WWE is taking a shot. I don't think there's any reason for them to do it. Like we talked about before the show, they even acknowledged Jay when he passed.
Yes.
Which they typically haven't done a lot for outside talent. So I mean, there's obviously respect there, and I think it's probably just an oversight.
Yeah,
I'm sure they tried for
think
years
so.
to get them to sign.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of efforts, I think, to sign them at one point, but just it was the schedule. You know, I think they wanted to stay close to their family. You know, this would have been a good opportunity, you know, for them to be able to do it. You know, I mean, there was offers for them to go to NXT, AEW. You know, what they were doing would have been the opportunity for them. You know, Ring of Honor and all that. But you know, I just think that this is, you know, it's an example of wrestling fans kind of just being in their own bubble and assuming that more people know about it than they do. I mean, because look, I get what you're saying. Yeah, Owens and Zayn, you know, they mentioned them, and you know, maybe some people might have looked it up, and it probably would have been people that are more inclined to be wrestling fans and let's say casual fans, right? So I mean, for as much as they're known amongst wrestling fans, they're not like mainstream. I mean, shit, there's guys in WWE that really aren't that mainstream. They're just known a little bit more because they're in WWE. It's a little bit more visible, you know what I'm saying? And it's also been the standard in the States for years. But you know, I don't think anything was meant by this. And I think that, you know, I understand that they want to show solidarity, you know, some of the other talents by chiming in and saying what they're saying. But again, this just kind of adds to the problem that we had just mentioned before about a lot of the talent getting involved with stuff that they should probably just be ignoring. You know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't be paying attention to what the other company's posting in general. You know what I mean? Like, you could see it, you could follow it, but you don't have to chime in. You don't have to comment. You don't have to do any of that stuff. You know, if it's a gimmick thing, that's understandable. I mean, look, MJF's interacted with all different types of accounts with WWE talents, all this different shit. It's fine, but that's fun stuff for wrestling fans. It's done in a way that it works and it makes more people notice and pay attention. That's smart. This, I feel like it just doesn't really help, and it doesn't really help their perception, I think, in general.
Speaking of, did anyone see the pic of him and Cena?
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah. I mean, I'm excited to see the movie. I got to be honest.
For sure.
I think it's funny though that you know, Lip Gallagher is very about Eric.
Texas Tornado. Yeah, that's so weird. He's so fucking short.
Yeah, he's really tiny. At least, you know, at least Efron looked like he took the part a little bit seriously. You know, he got really.
There's a lot of people saying that this could be an Oscar-worthy performance. Like, he's supposed to be coming out of this movie really looking great. So we'll see.
Okay.
Well, like, people that I know that are wrestling fans have seen it, and they all said it's a great movie. And I mean, and this isn't even like the movie snob people that I know, because there's some movie snob people that I know that, you know, I get it. I get why they like it, but you know,
I want this movie to be successful because I want more movies to be made about professional wrestlers. Like, I feel like I'm alone here. I want the Chris Hemsworth Hogan movie. I want to watch that. Like,
I mean, it'll be all right.
You know, give me something. You know, think about it. What if we got an Ultimate Warrior movie? Like, his fucking career was so up and down. Give us a Macho Man movie. Give us something, a Ric Flair movie. Like, I want to see this stuff, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I think it would be a lot better probably than Dark Side of the Ring, because I feel like that hasn't really done a whole hell of a lot of good. I feel like it's created a lot of problems in the wrestling business, you know, and it's kind of reopened a lot of old wounds that maybe some people just don't want to reopen. So maybe a movie might be better. Somebody will get an Oscar nod, you know. We'll see what happens. So moving along, Dave Meltzer's back at it again, guys. He's reporting some misinformation, apparently in regards to WWE's Elimination Chamber PLE that's going to be happening in Australia in February. And Meltzer accidentally reported that WWE Elimination Chamber has sold only 8,000 tickets, and that is why they're offering discounts. But the actual number is almost 40,000 sold. So a lot of people are kind of getting on Meltzer's case for reporting a lot of this misinformation. And Meltzer, I got to be honest, I mean, this is a guy who's been in the business a long time, you know, reporting stuff, you know, history of it, like understood a lot of the inner workings backstage, stuff like that. he should know that they do ticket deals. He should know that there's discounts, and there's all different types of comps and all this other shit when you have big shows like that. You know what I mean? There's family 4-packs. There's a bunch of different things designed to get people in for cheap tickets so that they can spend money on concessions and buy gimmicks. So Dave Meltzer, once again, back at it, trying to undercut WWE. It seems to be always WWE. Tyler, what do you think about Meltzer back with his old antics here?
It's just like, it's stupid for him to do it because it's easily verifiable. Like, so we can go and look and say, oh no, man, they sold all these tickets. Like whenever All In was coming up, you could go and look on one of the websites would show you how many tickets have been sold. Like, so it's easily you can easily prove it wrong. So it's just stupid that he did it. And yeah, they've been doing it for years. I remember what was it, like the 97 Rumble, where it was like we buy a fucking Whopper at Burger King and you get free tickets to the Royal Rumble, but then like, you're gonna sell t-shirts and fucking foam fingers and belts and masks and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's why wouldn't they do stuff like that? Because you get in there, especially like the family 4-pack deal. Like, yeah, you get in there with your 2 kids, and they're gonna want, Daddy, I want a shirt, I want a Coke, I want whatever. So get them in the door, and then that's where you make your real money.
Absolutely, and you make the boys and the girls more money that way too. You're making people buy more gimmicks. I mean, and whether you're getting it for the seat, you're getting them in the building, and they're spending more money. You know what I'm saying? So they're spending money on gimmicks, or they're spending money on tickets, one or the other. But it balances itself out, and it's a brilliant tactic that's been around for a while. Mach, how you feeling about Meltzer here? What do you think? Do you think that people are just slowly going to start turning away from him because of this stuff? Because, I mean, this seems to be happening all the time with him.
He's an idiot. I've been very vocal on Must Love Wrestling. I call him Bobo the Clown for a reason. I think that I've never agreed with Eric Bischoff more in my life. I feel like this guy is such a detriment to the business. I don't even understand how he got to the point he's at. Wade Keller has moved away from this type of stuff, right? With PW Torch, he doesn't really do this type of shit anymore. Now he just kind of reports on what he actually, like Tyler used the word verifiable. He actually reports on stuff that he's verified with people instead of just saying stupid shit. Like, he's been wrong so many times. I almost wonder if he runs Zero News on Twitter. That's how wrong I feel this dude is. I don't understand why he needs to continue to slight WWE. I feel like all it does is it impassions the WWE fan base. And now, look, there's Twitter, there's TikTok, there's Instagram, there's Facebook. People are just going to like trash this dude. He puts himself out there, and it's like, keep being wrong, and all of a sudden people, like, your subscriptions on your website are going to go down. You know what I mean? People are going to be going over looking for like Billy Body, like, oh, where can I find Billy Body? And then they're going to sign up for him because that dude's been right. I mean, like, he called everything that happened at Survivor Series, literally everything. So I don't know, man. I just don't think that this guy's great for wrestling, unless that's his gimmick, is to be wrong and to get heat.
It kind of seems to be his gimmick nowadays, and it's kind of disappointing because, like, this is a guy, for better or worse, meant a lot to wrestling. Used to help out the boys, used to help people get booked in different territories, was kind of a directory almost for wrestlers. And to see him go from where he used to be to now, it's really, really disappointing. And I think, look, regardless of whether he's wrong or not, people are still going to subscribe to Wrestling Observer. Like, that's just a given. Like, no matter what, he's got his market cornered. But for me, it's just, I just don't understand how people invest any kind of time or validity in his word. You know what I mean? I just don't get it anymore, because it's like, this guy has been proven wrong more often than not. So it's, I don't know. It's a tad shocking to me, honestly,
Yeah. Was it Seth Rollins who said on a podcast, like, he's, as far as being a wrestling historian, he's great. But as far as the stuff that he reports now and his match ratings, like, whatever.
Yeah.
His. I'm sorry, guys. I'm having a little technical difficulty here. I'm having a little trouble with my audio, but
No, we hear you perfectly.
no,
So
I
don't know.
can't hear you guys at all. I hear you very, very low. So I don't know what it is. I'm gonna get like a quick piece here, but we can still keep it going. I just think that, again, like for a guy that's been around this long, you should know a little something. You should be a little bit better at what you do. You should be a little bit more integrity in your word, And I just feel like he's lost a lot of it, maybe because he wants to be cool with the AEW people and he wanted it to succeed. And I think everybody at one point or another wanted AEW to succeed. But somewhere along the way, I think him and a lot of other journalists kind of went sideways. I mean, Billy Body's not even a journalist. Billy Body's just a guy who knows people, He's not even really a journalist in any way. But he's a lot more dependable than Meltzer, and it's pretty darn unfortunate if you ask me.
Mm-hmm.
Give me one sec, fellas. Let me swap this out.
Mm-hmm.
We're raw dogging it here on Working the Marks, folks. There you go. And it still sounds like shit.
Dog.
Okay. Can you guys speak?
Yo.
Okay. I can't hear you to save my life. Well, this is a bummer. Hold on. And these are the only suckers I got. And wait, let me see. Let me try these. Hold on, guys. Folks, only here on Working the Marks do you get technical difficulties in the middle of a show.
Oh, brother, that's how we're streaming live. That's what happens, man.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah, they don't know. We planned this.
Yeah, we planned this shit.
Intermission. Well, welcome to the
Most don't work.
Wrestling edition of Working the
I'm gonna
Marks.
try and see if I can hear here. See, this is one show without D, and look at this. Dude can't fucking spell, but he knows about technology. All right. Can you guys speak up a little?
Yo. What's going on?
Shit. Yeah, it's still super low. Oh, well. I think I'm going to try and see how far we can go with this. All right. Let's see. Let's see what I can hear and let's see what I can't hear. But
Charlotte's injury.
Yeah, a little news about Charlotte Flair. So Charlotte Flair got hurt on Friday night at SmackDown.
Brutal.
Some people think it was the moonsault, right? But then some people think that it might have been the spot on the top rope where she got her leg kind of knocked off the top rope, like slingshotted, I guess would be the best way to describe it, right?
It was fucking awful. She was this close to being Hayabusa.
Yeah.
It was bad, man.
Oh my
It was
God.
scary. It
Can you
was a
imagine?
scary move.
Oh my God. No, I cannot imagine. I cannot imagine that. I don't want to imagine that. I feel like Arthur would be crying for the rest of until he turned 8 years old. Like that's Arthur's fate. She's in his top 5.
Now I can hear you guys better. Sorry about that.
Wrestlers. I can't even imagine telling my son that Charlotte Flair just had a career-ending injury. And for me, being a Charlotte fan myself, it was very scary to watch, to see her writhing in pain, and I telling the ref my knee. Thank God. I don't know. I feel bad saying these words out loud, so please excuse for what I'm about to say. But watching her say my knee, I was relieved that it wasn't her neck or her head.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because she fell. Tyler, you gotta watch it. She fell. Pat's right. She slingshotted and fell on her head. It's like she slipped or whatever happened. I don't know, man. It was bad.
Yeah,
you never want to see anyone get hurt. I'm not a fan of her personally, but I don't want to see her get hurt.
No,
of course not. Nobody ever wants to see a talent get hurt.
She's a huge part of that division and a huge part of the reason that women's wrestling is where it is. So thankfully 100%. It's not more serious than that.
Yeah.
Especially going into Mania season. I mean,
because we're gonna get the dream match, her versus Bianca 1-on-1.
That's not gonna happen.
I don't.
We'll see. We'll see. It's a shame. I mean, but they can plug Bianca into a lot of other spots. I mean, obviously, you got to think it's going to be Becky and Rhea. You know,
Becky, Rhea.
the way they're booking Becky too. You know, she has that feud with Nia Jax now. Like they're kind of trying to build up that perception where she could take it to a bigger competitor.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But really sad, man. And I honestly, I hope it's not serious. I know some people have reported that it's serious. We haven't gotten any other news on it just yet. But everybody here working the marks of Must Love Wrestling, wishing a speedy recovery to Charlotte Flair, and hopefully no serious career-ending injuries or anything like that.
Yeah.
She's still got a lot of good years in front of her. So we got an announcement, I believe today, maybe about a couple hours ago, right? As per WWE social media, as well as Madison Square Garden and the Kia Forum. The Kia Forum reporting that CM Punk will be wrestling Dominic Mysterio at their upcoming live event on December 30th. But before that, CM Punk will return to action and will return to a WWE ring for the first time in 9 years, taking on Dom Mysterio. Filthy, dirty, disgusting, the most dangerous man in professional wrestling, Dominic Mysterio, son of a Ray. But, he's going to be taking on CM Punk at Madison Square Garden at the Holiday House Show that I know a certain guy that's speaking right now that's handsome has tickets to go watch with his young children. So pretty cool to hear, guys. What was your initial reaction to hearing that CM Punk is going to be returning to a WWE ring at a house show?
I loved it. I was very excited because I feel like he actually pointed this out about Dom, where he told Ray, like, good for you. I've wanted to punch that kid for 10 years or whatever. I was like, wow, that's perfect. And then Dom tweeting the gif of Mickey Gall, like, stomping him in UFC. Like, I was like, this is perfect. This is they set this up themselves. And I'm sure Triple H and whoever's running creative, they probably saw this and they were like, you know what? Let's give the fans what they want. Give us like the number one babyface right now, not named Cody Rhodes, against the number one heel. So let's get it, and let's get it in Madison Square Garden. And Pat, you're right. Like, CM Punk's first match back in, like, his last match in AEW was in Wembley in front of anywhere from 70 to 80,000 people. I'm not going to get into that right now. And then now he's going to wrestle at the most famous arena in the United States of America. Like, this is awesome, man. This is awesome. I'm very jealous of you and Charlie and Judah. Definitely jealous of all three of you.
Yeah. First of all, that's how you use social media and wrestling to enhance the product.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Second of all, I think it's awesome that it's at a house show because people pay their money and they go, and generally house shows are fun. You get to see some pretty good matches because they got time or whatever, but you never really see generally anything too monumental. Mm-hmm. So for him to make his first match back at a house show, although that MSG show usually does have something.
Yeah,
they've had a couple IC title switches. They've had now they got this.
AJ Styles won the US title there.
Yeah, IC US, same deal. I think
it's a holiday tradition.
Is that where Diesel won the beat Bob Backlund for the world title?
Yep.
Yeah. So
not at the holiday show though.
No,
but
that was earlier in the month.
Yeah, just MSG is special.
Yeah, for sure.
The house that Vince McMahon built.
That's right. Some might say Vince Senior.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Remember the first time they did Raw there in like '97, just because knowing the history, being so excited for it, and then it was like they did extra on the show. It was like Cactus Jack's debut, and the first time Vince got stunned.
Yeah, that was good stuff, man. Cactus Jack, Mick Foley pretty much and Triple H would always have bangers, man. They would have some awesome matches together.
They had that Falls Count Anywhere match on that show,
Yeah, that one. Their Royal Rumble match. Anytime those two got in there, the objective was to beat the shit out of each other and just have a great fucking match. And they always accomplished it.
Rumble match is so good. For sure. Yeah, I'm a big
very underrated chemistry, in my opinion, between those two. All right. So moving on from CM Punk, we're now going to get to our main event topic of the evening.
Yeah, let's do it.
And this one might hit some people, in the heart. You might be a little sad about it. You might get in your feelings, and if you do, feel free to chime in. That's what we're here for, right? We love the discourse here. But this week's main event topic, we will be presenting to you the eulogy of AEW. We here on Working the Marks feel that AEW, as far as it being a consistent competitor and not being just a place for people to work in, that time is come and gone. And we're looking at AEW now and we're remembering what could have been instead of what's happening right now. So Mach, I'm going to switch it over to you. And we had selected a few topics, a few talking points here. One of them is our favorite moment or match. So I guess I'll just ask them to you. You tell me, you give me your answers, and then we'll kind of do the thing. I'm not used to being the host here, folks. And like I said, we're raw dogging it. We're free balling it here. We're going commando on Working the Marks. Okay, we're going commando without Fernando, and we're doing the thing here tonight. So, but Mach, what's your favorite moment or match from AEW?
Well, my favorite moment in AEW is by far the first 45 seconds at Arthur Ashe Arena with Kenny Omega and Bryan Danielson stare down before their match. Listening to that crowd lose their shit, knowing that they were watching the two best wrestlers like of the past 10 years, right? They might not be now. Like, I still think Bryan is, obviously, but and Kenny might be too. Like, between them two and Roman, they're the three best, I think, on the planet. I think just watching that, like, I felt like I had literal goosebumps. It was a match I was dying to see for such a long time. Their first match had like thumb wrestling, and it was very comical. Early Kenny with like his little Jerry curl and his little green tights. But this felt like a dream match, like the Cleaner versus the Dragon. And I mean, the match lived up. It was everything I ever wanted. I've told Tyler this plenty of times. I think it's the best match AEW's ever had. That's my favorite moment. Just those first 45 seconds.
Okay, interesting. And when do you think AEW reached its peak? Or do you think that AEW has yet to reach their peak?
God, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this because I feel like it's going to catch. Well, you know what? Let's catch some heat. This is what we're doing. Working the Marks. Sure. I feel like it reached its peak. CM Punk's return to the business. Okay. That's where like everything was like, wow, like we're here. Like this is it. I felt like it was the biggest moment they've had. I mean, his promo, just like sitting in the ring, taking off his shirt, like the fact that the people that were there got to have shirts that said I was there. Yeah, I felt like that was like the peak of like AEW. I think that's probably the biggest moment that they've had in the company.
Interesting. Okay. Who would you consider your AEW MVP?
In general or just this year?
Just in general, overall.
Jon Moxley.
Okay. All right. And when do you feel the hype died for you or the bloom fell off the rose?
When MJF won the title.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, I just realized that I might have botched this whole thing, but that's all right. We're going to keep it going. Like I said, we're going commando here, folks.
Oh, because you missed the match? My favorite match?
Well, yeah, you mentioned what your favorite match was, didn't you?
No, that was my favorite moment was the 45 seconds. No, my favorite match was from All Out this year. It was Bryan versus Ricky Starks in the strap match.
Interesting.
That fucking match was amazing.
Okay. All right. Well, Tyler, we're going to switch over to you because I think you feel a little bit differently about this topic, and I'd really like to hear what you're going to say in regards to it. What so far is your favorite moment or match from AEW?
I'm going to be a Mark with my favorite moment, and nothing he's done since has been very good. But the Adam Copeland debut.
Okay.
I lost my mind. Lou and I were watching the pay-per-view, and he was ahead of me, and he had to keep talking about random stuff and not reacting. And then when the music hit and the video played, I don't think I've ever marked, maybe when he came back to WWE, but other than that, I don't think I've ever marked out like that in my life. My favorite match would be Bryan Danielson versus Hangman 1, the time limit draw.
Nice.
That match was incredible.
Love it.
Should I keep going?
No. I'm gonna keep asking you some other. I fucked up because I should have just done it one at a time, and then the three of us go in. But like I said, we're free balling it here, so we're just gonna improvise and keep it going. We're calling it on the fly. We're calling it in the ring, folks. So when do you think AEW peaked?
Oh man, probably Double or Nothing 2022. Everything was going according to plan. CM Punk wins the title. Everything looks like it's on the upward. Then he gets hurt. Everyone's feeling some type of way about different things. Him and Mox get into it with the stupid whatever Rocky 3 angle. It was Rocky 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Then obviously the brawl out thing happens. And I kind of think it's, for the most part, it's been difficult to kind of regain the momentum from there.
Interesting. Okay. So who would you consider your AEW MVP?
I'm not a fan of the guy, but I got to give it to Mox too, because I'm not a fan of his recent work. Because every time they need someone to step up and carry the ball, he's been the guy.
Okay.
So,
all right, fair enough.
Honorable mention, Orange Cassidy.
Okay, I ain't mad at that one. I think that one's all right. Now, when do you think the hype died? Do you think the hype is dead? And when do you think the bloom might have fallen off the rose here for AEW in terms of them potentially being a thorn maybe in WWE's side?
Yeah, I think not being able to make it work with Punk probably is what probably put a nail in that coffin. I was talking to Lou before you came on. I'm think of Punk like a guy like Odell Beckham, where he maybe his fastball isn't quite what it always was as far as in the ring, but he's smart and he knows what to do, and he's got the experience to still get things done and make it look good, and he can talk, and he could be a resource. He just needed to be properly used and properly in a proper environment. I think they shouldn't have looked to him to lead people who didn't want to be led, but let him be a voice, let him be a sounding board for the people who did want to, learn and sit, so to speak, sit under the learning tree. Because there's plenty of people, I'm sure, that would love to hear what CM Punk has to say about their matches, but why not just keep him away from the people who don't and let him do his thing?
Yeah.
I think they should have done whatever it took to make it work, if possible, and maybe it wasn't possible. But
I don't think it was, man. I think that perhaps
I
maybe
think you're probably right, but
I think there's some maturity issues there. You know what I'm saying? I think there's maybe just some people that don't want to put their personal grievances aside for the sake of business and for the sake of learning, But again, we don't really know. We can only speculate based on the way some of the things have gone down. So
Pat, let me ask you these questions. Then,
sure.
Right.
All right.
So,
I like this.
Pat, what is your favorite moment or match in AEW?
All right. So my favorite moment is when Punk came back to wrestling. I think that was just the biggest thing in the fucking business at the time. That was really huge and that was really cool and unexpected. But I'm not gonna lie, I was a little all right. Well, I'm gonna give it a shot. Let's see where, because I always wanted him to go back, to the big time. But that's me. But I wanted to see how it went, honestly. And I think that was probably my personal favorite moment. Now match, that's a whole different thing. I'm gonna say Danielson and Okada, man, only because of the kind of match that they had. They also had to follow that video game match that was pure madness between Kenny Omega and fucking Will Ospreay. It was also into hour 5 of the fucking pay-per-view, so the crowd was just done. But the match itself was amazing, and Danielson breaking his forearm and then being able to not only continue the match, but improvise for the victory in a very creative way was just absolutely incredible, and a testament to his greatness, and as well as a testament to Okada's greatness. And a guy, in my opinion, who I think will be a very big star if he does, in fact, choose to come to the United States to be here. So, and to continue to wrestle.
When do you think AEW peaked?
I think AEW peaked after Brawl Out. I think that's when they had the most buzz. That was when they were the hottest. That's when everybody wanted to tune in to see what the fuck was going to go on after all that shit went down, I remember a lot of people being excited for that episode of Dynamite, that follow-up, to see, after everything went down with Punk and the Bucks and, and the Elite and everybody, and just the Dog and fucking Ace Steel, and then Punk going ham in that fucking media scrum. Oh man, Hangman, everything, you wanted to see what was going to happen. And I think for me, not only was the buzz there from the wrestling fans, I think there was a lot of mainstream interest too, as well, because a lot of people were like, holy shit, what's going on here? Like, what happened? I would say even a close second is when MJF called Tony Khan a fucking mark on TV. There was a lot of intrigue with that. There was a lot of buzz about that. People were like wondering, like, hey, is this a shoot or what? Like, what's going on here? Unfortunately, I felt they kind of dropped the ball with that, the way they brought him back. I thought they could have brought him back in a more creative way, but again, that's just me. But I think that, that moment too, I mean, any kind of moment where they created that buzz that blurred the lines, or did that thing that they could do that WWE really doesn't have I don't know what's the best way I could put it. I guess that's not really their business model. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They can't really do that. They're a publicly traded company. So I understand it's a little different with the way they present their entertainment. But I think those moments that AEW did that was really cool, man. And it's just a shame that the follow-up was kind of not there, or just lackluster.
And who is your AEW MVP?
Oh boy. That's a tough one, man. That's a really, 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 really tough one. And I know you guys say Jon Moxley, and look, I think he's been valuable to that company. But until somebody produces his numbers, I'm going to say CM Punk, man. CM Punk was AEW's MVP. He generated a lot of business, a lot of buzz, a lot of hype, a lot of gate, and unfortunately, they just could not work it out. You know what I'm saying? And for me, I'm a fucking money guy. I like, you gotta get people to fucking watch your shit. It doesn't matter how good of a fucking wrestler you are. You know what I mean? We all know that wrestling skill really doesn't mean shit in the grand scheme of things. If you're entertaining and compelling, people are going to tune in to watch you. And for me, for a company that was starting out, I don't think there was anybody bigger for them than CM Punk.
That's very interesting you say that, because that's actually where my mind has gone. Me and Tyler have actually gone after this topic here. I've actually been thinking the same thing recently, was that, like, I feel like if you're not giving me a reason to watch you, like, I think you're shit. Like, that's just kind of the way it is now. You know what I mean? Like, but getting back to this, when did the hype die for you? When did the bloom fall off the rose?
When they didn't follow up on any of those angles. You know what I mean? When they didn't follow up with, and I mean, there was a couple of instances here where, like, you look at it and you're like, fuck, they have a chance to do something really fucking cool. And then they went and they did something else. I think a lot of the booking decisions that Tony Khan's made haven't been conducive to bringing people back outside of their core audience, and I just feel like look, at this point, you can't really say that it's all the WWE's been around for 40 years and all that stuff. No, you really can't say that anymore because Tony Khan had the money and had the talent. He just didn't put it together well. That's it. And I think he overwhelmed himself instead of giving himself a group of people, a team of people that could help him come up with the best stuff that, you know, he can put on with the talent that he has. He should have done a lot more. If we're being honest here, he should have done a lot more than what he's done with the talent that he's had, with the money that he has. You know what I mean? So to me, I don't know. I just feel like the hype to me died more and more. It was like a gradual, slow, gradual death every time they had an opportunity to do something hot. And instead of him, you know, pushing the button or just doing the thing, like just making people do business and getting, you know, do what they got to fucking do to make fucking money and to bring people in. He just let himself down, you know? And I just think it was just a gradual thing.
Do you think back in the beginning of the show, when the beginning of the company, when it seemed like they were more open to other people's ideas and creativity, before Tony put his foot down after that horrible angle with the Dark Order, and I don't remember who else was involved. I think it was the Bucks, and that's when Tony stepped in and was like, "No, I'm doing this now." Do you think it was maybe better then? And then once he took over, he's just, like you said, overwhelmed.
Yeah, I would think so, and I would think so only because possibilities existed. You know what I'm saying? Like it was kind of just more like, okay, there's a lot of possibilities of things that they could do. So you were more inclined to kind of tune in at the beginning of AEW to see where they were kind of going. You know, WWE, we've been watching it for so long that like you miss an episode of Raw, you already kind of have a general idea of what's going on if you have an understanding of the storylines and what's going to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
AEW didn't really have that. You were kind of watching it just develop in real time. So you were more inclined to want to tune in to see what was going to happen or who was going to show up or something like that. And that to me, I thought was cool about it. You know what I mean? Like you were asking questions, you were wondering, you know? I mean, again, I just think it's yeah, he overwhelmed himself. I mean, you can be a fan of something. I mean, fuck, dude, I'm a huge fan of fucking NFL football. You know what I'm saying? I'm a huge fan of the National Football League. I'm a huge fan of the 49ers. I can't coach the fucking 49ers. I'm not Kyle Shanahan. I don't know how the fuck to do it. But I would sit down and go,
he can.
Well, I mean, whatever.
Give the ball to 23. How hard is it?
Yeah. I mean, I get that, but you know, when they figure it out, you got to start doing some other things, and that's what we got a bunch of other guys for. That's what a team is for. Together, everyone achieves more. Remember, but you know, I love the 49ers, but I can't coach the 49ers. I could listen to Kyle Shanahan and I could go, hey, let me sit in with your coaching staff and watch you do this so that I could try and understand how to do it. If I had money to do stuff like that, I would have surrounded myself with all these people. You know, if I was in Tony Khan's position, I would have gotten all these people and said, hey, you're a part of the booking committee. We're all going to sit down. I want to learn from you guys. I want to learn how to do this. Because again, you could watch it and you could think you know how to do it, but you don't actually know until you actually do it. And that's the one thing I got to give to Billy Corgan, man. Billy Corgan surrounded himself with people that taught him the business, that taught him how to book, that taught him how to tell stories, you know? And, you know, he doesn't have the budget that Tony has. He doesn't have, you know, the abilities that Tony does, but I think he's doing very good with what he's doing with the NWA, you know? And I think he's presenting different guys that have gone on to AEW, guys that have gone on to WWE. You know, it's a platform for some people to be seen. Scott D'Amore, same thing, man. I mean, fuck, look at the women's division there. Arguably the second best women's division probably in the world, you know, I would say. Like right behind WWE. They're phenomenal, you know. Scott D'Amore books it well, but Scott D'Amore's a wrestling guy. Scott D'Amore was a wrestler. He was a booker. He was an agent. He was a producer. He did everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's a brilliant guy.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant guy, you know, and he's done a phenomenal job. The problem with you know, Impact Wrestling or TNA is they don't have any eyeballs, man. It's really hard to watch it. Like it's on some dumb channel. I mean, if they had a deal with CW or if they had a deal with Fox or something like that, I think they'd be a lot bigger because their storylines are good.
Streaming platform now with Endeavor.
Oh yeah. That's right. Thank you for mentioning that. That's correct. Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah, they signed a deal, right?
Yes, TNA signed a deal with Endeavor to have their own streaming platform.
Okay.
Now that makes me kind of wonder a little bit, right? Like it makes you think, of course, because wrestling fans see stuff like that. The antennas are gonna go up, and you're gonna start wondering, oh, hey, what could they do there? I wouldn't be surprised if they cross the streams. I mean, we've seen it already, right? We saw Mickey James. You know what I'm saying? Wasn't there somebody else from Impact? There was a guy that was in it too, right? Wasn't there a guy from Impact that might have been in it? I don't know, unless I was fucking lucid dreaming. But I mean, it would be cool to see, I always call him Jason Alexander, Josh Alexander.
Yeah.
He's amazing. He's phenomenal. Him, Mike Bailey. Yeah, I love Speedball Bailey. Like, those guys, both Canadians, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Yep. Bailey's from Montreal, I believe, and Josh, I think, is from Northern Ontario.
Yeah, man. Both are phenomenal wrestlers. Be really cool to see them in the Rumble if they could do something like that.
Yeah, I'm a huge Alex Shelley mark, so.
Oh, he's great too. He's great too, man.
Does he still have the title?
I don't know if he does. I haven't really kept up.
Yeah, I think him and Saban are still world champion, X Division champ.
Because they wrestled they wrestled Alexander and I don't remember. They had a pay-per-view Saturday, but I was still on the boat.
Wow, Uribe. I can't believe it, man. You're here and we're actually talking about fucking Impact. You're actually not here, excuse me, and we're talking about fucking Impact. So look at that. He misses the one show we actually talk about Impact seriously. But getting back to AEW, I just think that it's in Tony Khan's, like the ball's in Tony Khan's corner, and I think that he needs to kind of have that moment where he kind of realizes like, okay, what am I going to do? Am I going to continue to do this and be below where we should be? Or am I going to fucking get some help and start building my own stars so that I don't have to go and buy all these old stars anymore? Or if I want to bring in an old star, I could bring him in to mentor somebody, and like he should have been doing that from the beginning. Like Jungle Boy should have been a lot bigger than what he is. Darby, yeah, he's done well, but I mean, he should be bigger than what he is. A lot of their guys, their homegrown people should be a lot bigger than what they are, especially when you look at the roster that they started out with. Cody Rhodes right now, biggest baby face in the business,
Let's look at the Iron Claw premiere.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Baron Corbin's there. Liv Morgan's there. John Cena's there. MJF's there. This is MJF's project. He's playing the Von Erich brother that's not really a Von Erich brother. Right? That's who he's playing. Why didn't AEW send anybody to support their world champion?
Right. Yeah, Tony should be there.
Yeah. You should absolutely be there. If I were Tony Khan right now, and let's assume that Dave Meltzer's a moron, right? And that MJF has not signed a new deal with AEW, right? If I open Twitter and I fucking saw a picture of MJF, 3 different photos, one with him with Baron Corbin, one with him with Liv Morgan, one with him with John Cena, I would be freaking out that my hottest commodity is going to walk out the door and go join his best friend, Cody Rhodes, and go join CM Punk. And what do I do then? Bring in Nick Nemeth? That's what I'm going to do.
That's happening.
Because let me ask you guys this before we go here. Does this not feel like the veterans going to AEW? Does this not feel like when Scott Hall and Kevin Nash told us that the reason they went to WCW is because they got paid more and got to work a lighter schedule?
Yeah, but the difference is that drew a whole lot of money too, and this is not.
Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong. I talked to my uncle. Like, they're excited in Puerto Rico that Dolph Ziggler is going to go wrestle for the WWC. So I'm hoping he stays over there. Like, dude, stay over there. Give my islands, give our island some, props. But like, I don't want to see Nick Nemeth in AEW. I don't want to see that shit. For what? So you could start a really good feud and then you could main event Dynamite like they just did with Edge and Christian. Like, what the fuck? I don't want to see that shit. It should be main eventing a pay-per-view.
I do think he would be a good addition if it was something where Tony was gonna relinquish a little control, because he's got guys like, look, he's got Bryan Danielson, who's a great creative mind, been around forever, great talent. He's got a guy like Don Callis there, who was the guy who was head of creative and Impact when they started to turn things around. If he had a guy like who's a really smart guy, creatively, like they could still turn this around if he was willing to take his hands off the wheel and let other people who know what they're doing drive the car for a little while.
I understand it. Pat, I'm sorry. I know you want to say that.
Go ahead.
I really think that this Iron Claw thing, I think this is going to be something that people like. We might be the first ones talking about this, right? We might be the first ones that are actually pointing this out. But dude, not a single talent. Like Liv Morgan's there, right? She hasn't worked in a very long time. She's at premieres because she's marketable. And I know, Pat, you and I we're in the majority of the Britt Baker fans. She's the face of the division. If Liv Morgan's there, Britt Baker should fucking be at this premiere. I'm sorry. That woman's gorgeous. She should be there. Ooh, let's go find out where she's from. I don't understand it. I don't understand his mind. Like, dude, you're a millionaire. Like, you make your quarterback play hurt. Like, your biggest reason for people to go to fucking Jacksonville, and then you're just not showing any like backing towards your biggest star. Like, I don't understand. I don't get it.
So am I to understand that it's Tony Khan's fault that Trevor Lawrence played on Sunday?
Yeah. That's his fault. Yeah, he should have told him, nah, bro, you're too much money. You sit this one out.
I really do think, I understand what we're talking about here, but I really do think like there could be a burning orphanage. Bryan Danielson could set it on fire and Lou would find a reason why he should have done it. Tony Khan could save all the orphans and it would be a bad thing for some reason.
Go ahead. Defend Tony Khan. Tell me
no,
for me.
I'm not going to defend him. I'm just saying I don't think it matters what he does at this point. You're going to find a reason that it's something wrong with it.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a possibility, but you're not far off. You're not far off. I mean, look, the Jaguars, I think, is a separate thing. I think, honestly, you're right. He should be there. He should be there. He's the fucking owner of the company. Wrestling people going to a wrestling movie premiere is not a problem. It's not a WWE-centric thing. They sent people. Why didn't AEW fucking send people? Britt Baker, MJF, Tony Storm. Tony Storm at a fucking movie premiere. Who didn't fucking think of this? You know what I mean? Like, this is madness.
That's a good point.
And
right?
We've been talking about Bryan all show. He's a part of all of our favorite matches. We all have a different Bryan Danielson match as our favorite match in AEW. Who loves this style wrestling more than Bryan in that fucking company?
Yeah.
FTR. They literally mark out for that era of professional wrestling. That's what they do.
Ric Flair's in the fucking movie.
Yes.
He's in the fucking movie.
Flair. I mean, it's just brutal. Just brutal.
I
wonder if I were MJF, I would be like, dude, where are you at? Why aren't you here?
I wonder if Rick would have been there. Did he not cut a cringy promo on
we talked
Collision
about it
or something that people didn't like very much?
Yeah.
He was
in some hot water, right?
It was, I mean, it just got censored and, it was kind of frowned upon, but it wasn't, it wasn't anything where they removed them off TV. Yeah, it didn't air, but.
Okay, I just wonder if they maybe wanted to keep him.
I mean, okay, that's understandable. But why not fucking Sting? You could send fucking Steve Borden. You could fucking send a million people.
He worked in World Class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't Tully Blanchard work for this fucking company?
No, he's gone.
Anymore.
He's gone.
He's gone. Okay.
Fucking Jim Ross. Jim Ross should have fucking been there. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a million people in that company that you think to yourself, okay, send them. And there's not so much fucking corporate tape like there is with WWE. Like it's a lot more open. It's more free. I'm with you, man. I just feel like that's a really bad sign, especially when you have WWE people that are there. Okay. It's a wrestling fucking movie.
Dude, the worst part about this is that Triple H was interviewed during one of these scrums, and he said that they wanted to do stuff for Iron Claw, but they already had like the whole thing booked up, and they still found time. I'm sorry, this is very strategic for me, and I know I'm being like a conspiracy theorist, but this feels like Triple H was like, dude, go out there, because a lot of people are gonna wonder why the fuck is Baron Corbin there. Listen, the guy's hanging out with Taylor Swift. He's having fun. He's living it up.
That's probably why they sent him. That's probably why they sent him. Fuck, that's a lot of eyeballs going, who the fuck is this guy? Oh, this guy wrestles for WWE. Hey, you know what? Let's send him to the red carpet. He's hot at the moment.
But Taylor Swift's favorite wrestler is CM Punk, though.
I wonder if the production company asked WWE to send some people.
Yeah, because AEW wasn't sending anybody.
Yeah,
but maybe it wasn't their. You know what I mean? Maybe it wasn't their choice.
I mean, still, they could figure out a way to do it. They could still figure out a way.
Yeah, they should definitely be
MJF.
like, look, using our world champion. Can we please at least send Tony Storm would have been perfect with him?
Yeah.
Get people. Well, no, because she's never mind.
I mean, I
was just saying
anybody
people talking, but yeah, she's already.
I mean, they could have sent fucking Sting. They could have just said, "Hey, we'll send Sting over there." Oh, well, Sting worked for World Class. Oh, fuck it then. You know what? We could ask him about the movie. He'll know better.
Right? Yeah, it makes sense.
Could have sent a bunch of veterans, man. You could have done something. They could have done anything.
Arn Anderson's there, right?
Arn Anderson, yeah, Armed Anderson, with the Glock. He's gonna bring the gun with.
Right. Yeah.
The Arn Anderson gun thing. Yeah, that was a pretty interesting one there. Yeah, that was pretty funny. But I mean, it just seems to be a lot of the issues there. And it just seems to kind of all revolve around Tony Khan and some of his decision making. And I hope that for the new year, I hope something changes there. I've tried to be optimistic. I've tried to give things some time. Some things were good. Let's not sit here and fucking act like everything AEW did fucking sucked. It didn't. But I just think that right now they're in a position where they really shouldn't be in. They really, really shouldn't be in. And they should be doing a lot better. And how they turn it around, we'll see. But real shame that it's even gotten to this point, honestly.
I mean, the quickest way to turn it around is put the title on Swerve.
Yes, but I mean, more people need to know who Swerve is. Right. That's the thing. More people need to know who
he has his ois own fan base from his music.
He does.
He's gonna bring more eyes, and we've seen the ratings. His segments are the highest rated on the show, so there's clearly people that are tuning in just for him.
He would have been. I mean, that's another thing too. You think, okay, let's look at the numbers. Let's see who people see the most or people watch the most. They sent Baron fucking Corbin because he took a picture with Taylor Swift this past weekend. You know what I mean? It's not rocket science. It's not fucking rocket science.
No.
Do it in a way where you're sending people that are the most visible. Swerve Strickland. All right, send them out there. It's good, man. You got a good balance of people. Inclusivity fucking counts too as well. You know what I'm saying? That's a big thing. People want to see representation. Do it. You know what I'm saying? But unfortunately, it didn't happen. We can go on and on here tonight, folks, for some of these other issues in wrestling, though. But we appreciate everybody tuning in. It's looking to be about that time. It's about an hour 13 now. So we're gonna start wrapping things up here on Working the Marks. Tyler, appreciate you being with us tonight.
Definitely.
Anything you wanna plug? Anything you wanna mention before we sign off here? Working the Marks.
Yeah, I believe Lou and I are gonna have a show tomorrow night. So if you wanna tune in there. I got a couple ideas that might be pretty fun.
Sure.
He and I are going to talk about it after this, but Lou, I think Taylor Swift's favorite wrestler is probably Jeff Jarrett.
I didn't see her playing with a Jeff Jarrett figure.
Bit of a personal connection there. If you know, you know.
Literally nobody's favorite wrestler has ever been Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah, but she used to babysit his kids.
Yeah. That doesn't mean she likes him.
Wow, my cousin's favorite wrestler was Jeff Jarrett at one point.
Get the fuck out! When did Bernie like Jeff? He was a Bret Hart guy.
When he used to call himself Ruben Jarrett, he wanted to call himself the Tennessee technician Ruben Jarrett. True story.
Yeah.
True story. The Tennessee technician. Yeah. That was a good one. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah.
I kind of like that name.
Nice.
And Mach, anything you want to plug? Anything you want to mention here before we sign off?
Yeah, I just want to say, Fernando, you fucked up for not coming on the show. You know, we talked about TNA, and now I'm gonna make it my sole purpose, all the way in through April 8th, to never allow a TNA subject to be on this show again. And just want to let you know. Nah, but in all seriousness, yeah, we are a man down now. D is no longer with the show. Unfortunately, you are gone but not forgotten. And you know, I'm looking forward to seeing how much better the show gets, and hopefully we can convince Paddy to stay, because we love Paddy. You're the whole reason that I do this. So
I'm gonna need to see a lucrative offer. I don't know. It depends.
yeah, well, you know.
Did he tell you anytime you wanna join us for trios action, you're more than welcome as well.
I would love to. I've been on the show before. I had a blast, and I'd love to do it again. So it'd be a pretty nifty, neato, swell time. Hopefully,
I just got to do a better job because Pat will like text me after like a wrestling pay-per-view, and it'll be like, yo, you want to do a reaction show? And then I like don't get my ass up there. So every time you do that, I'm just gonna have to get up and do it, because I think Tyler's least favorite thing to do is reviews. So
yeah, the reviews are tough, man. I mean, especially if you got like a lame duck episode of whatever program you're reviewing. I like to try and leave it to the PLEs mostly, or the pay-per-views. I feel like that's good.
Right. That's what I say about our shows. It's like everyone watched Raw. Like, we don't have to talk about what happened on Raw unless it's something significant. Like, we can,
correct.
You know.
Yeah, I'm with that. Well, guys, thank you so much for stopping in here on Working the Marks. Hopefully, for the spring of Paddy. We'll see what happens. I'm gonna get you guys to WrestleMania. I'm gonna get you there. I'm gonna have to throw the show on my back. My back's broken. I was working a casket match. I got thrown over the top. My tailbone hit the corner of the casket. So I don't know. I'm gonna
Undertaker again.
Yeah, man. Just gonna pop a couple somas and keep it moving. But appreciate everybody being on the show here tonight. Appreciate the no fans that watch this. Go fuck yourselves. Man,
we had at least 5 people watching at one point.
Yeah. Oh man,
got 3 people watching right now, brother.
Oh shit. All right. Well, thanks, you fucking 3 people. And it's not the 3 of us. Like that doesn't count, is it? Okay.
Not unless you got Facebook opened on your phone. I don't know.
Just checking. Yeah. But it's been great, guys. Thanks for being with us here tonight. Anything you ever want to mention to us, you want us to talk about, hit us up on the socials, hit us up here. Hit us up on whatever fucking gimmicks we are up there, whatever D who left the show put up there. Hit us up on that. Anyways, it's been nice talking. I'm gonna shut the fuck up and get out of here. He's Tyler Taylor. He's the talent. He's Macho Rodriguez. He's the Pitbull. I'm Richard Pictures. I'm the man of your nightmare and every nightmares. And every week here, we are working the marks.
Famcast Media.